from all around your lawn. I'm here to tell you how football is strong. We're the best. Bounce the ball.
Good morning and welcome back to the GDFL Netball Show. Joining us during this session is Jason Woolley. He's the coach of the Winchelsea Netball Club. Welcome, Jason.
Thanks very much for having me on.
Not a problem at all. And we've got Donna here to help along with a few of the questions that I think a few people might want to know about where Winch is sitting. Last year's premiers for A grade. How was that for you? You were coaching then as well?
Yeah, that was pretty exciting. The years prior to that, the previous 2 years, I think we'd lost prelims by a goal each time. So, you know, A, it was nice to get into the grand final, and then B, to actually take it out was, pretty exciting. We hadn't won a premiership at Winchelsea for 31 years.
Yep.
So obviously everyone was pretty excited. I was at a function earlier that year, and they'd sort of had a 30-year reunion, and to watch some of those girls get up and speak, you know, sort of made us say that, we want to be in that position as well. And so to be able to carry that out was exciting.
Yeah. So coming off a win in the grand final, do you change any of your pre-season things? Do you say, oh, well, we've done it now, let's go a little bit slacker? Like, was there any change to your...
Not really. I mean, you come back and you start again pretty much from fresh, and you've got to get the fitness levels up as everyone's taken time off, and you continue to build. Players come, players go, so you've got to assess that and then bring the cohesiveness back together to formulate new plans for the year. So you sort of start from scratch again.
So do you rate where you are now as to where you were this time last year? Like, do you go along the lines of that, or do you...
Not really. You sort of just look at the group that you have and say, well, how can I make this group better? Or where can we improve as a club, as a group, and take it from there? And, you know, there's different personnel, so your strengths and weaknesses are a little bit different, but you just build on what you've got.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I was having a chat earlier, you know, setting goals at the beginning of the year. For West, it's easy. You know, we're making very, very small steps each year, and hopefully that's going to continue, and we've been achieving those. What do you do when you're at the top of the game? What goals do you set? Other than staying there.
And other than end of season cheer?
No, you do try and just look at, again, trying to get the most out of your group. So I sort of look at the team a bit critically and look at where we need to improve to get to where we did last year. So for us, you know, the two prelims that we lost were coming from about fourth. Yep. So trying to get up top to second and get enough wins to be there makes finals a lot easier. Yep. Then you can try and avoid the prelim, which is where we've had some trouble. But you're just looking to get the group better to get as high a finish as you can. If that happens to be top, excellent.
But it would be easier for you, Jason. You've had the same girls 2 years in a row now. Or have you brought anyone in different? Yeah,
we lost Hayley McCallum, who pretty much picked up on a Thursday and got a job in Alice Springs, so she had to leave. So, you know, straight away.
She couldn't come back on a Saturday? What's her problem?
Yeah, I thought that was a bit slack myself
rude,
as well.
Damn rude.
Yeah, just drive. And we lost, Renee Pilkington's been out pretty much for the whole year with a fractured ankle. Yep. So again, we're trying to replace her. And otherwise, we've had a couple of girls out with State League who have moved their games. A lot of games have been moving to weekends, so Saturdays, so that's meant we've had to shuffle around a little bit. The one player we probably have added consistently is Jacinta Todd, who gives us another option in centre wing attack. So a little bit of working the combinations there with her and Julia and Kira.
So these people that you get in, are they local Winch girls?
No, not all of them. A lot of travel from Melbourne. So we had a core group of about 3 or 4 that were coming from Melbourne, and they tend to spread the word, feel like it's such a
Can they spread the word to Anarchy? 3 or 4, maybe 5, 7 would be good.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that throughout the league, you're noticing more players from the VNL come across. I know wherever you've got a few. We had the Mitchells at Anarchy, Bellpost have got a few, and they're coming through, and it only takes 1 or 2 to say how much fun they're having. Yeah. And everyone jumps on.
I think it is also showing that the strength of the actual GDFL competition is improving, because I know that we're known as the lesser one compared to the GFL and whatever, and that's okay, but I think that it is showing that we are getting to be a stronger competition, a stronger club, and people want to be a part of it.
I think there's some great kids floating around, and I've spoken to a couple of coaches, and you notice some of the younger girls that are playing A grade at that young age, and they're having a real impact, and that's good for the league.
Yeah,
it really good for the league.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. And coming up into finals, you're hoping to be top of the ladder like you are now. Do you think when it comes to finals time, having a week off if you win that first game
Is an advantage.
is an advantage or a disadvantage, or you don't?
I used to think it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Last year, to go through that path and win that first final and go straight through worked. So I guess if you win, you say it worked. If you lose, you say it didn't.
So in other words, they have to lose so that you don't get a break just to see how you go this year and maybe not fail.
Yeah, something along those lines. I mean, look,
I'm not
ideally,
saying I want you to fail, Jane. Not at all.
ideally you'd finish first, win that first final, and go straight through. I think is
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
you can always pick up that game
Yeah.
by a practice match or whatever.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, I just wanted to understand, where you might have thought about that.
Can I just ask you about your support team?
Please do.
The same people around you as last year. You've got a number of people who help you in, say, the goal section or the defence section, or do you do it all, or what happens in that
I tend to do
sense?
the lot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you've got people that are at every training session. So Renee Pilkington, who's played a lot of mid-court, I'll let them take some sessions, and Renee's actually coaching C and D grade now, so that's helped her along the way. Julia Knott, who's a goaler, has some great experiences as well, so it's always good to... The players read well from other players, so if they can see how Jules plays and then learn some tips there, it helps. So
But I suppose it also helps by them being in the team with those players, playing with them and training with them too, like what they learn from Julia and that on the court on a Tuesday, Thursday night, that they take onto the court on the Saturday.
And just to see the intensity at which they train, that's a big difference, because otherwise people just, fluff through training. But to actually see that if you go hard at training, it transfers through to a game, it's priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. Your biggest threats this year, do you think?
Apart from Anarchy.
I mean, the obvious standouts are Bellpost and Werribee. Again, Easter also a bit of a floater in there.
Yep.
Bellpost, I mean, that game was 2 goals at half time. I think we were up before Kim came off.
Yep.
And Werribee's always a super tough game as well. So they're probably the 2 that I think are, dangerous.
So even though you're sitting top of the ladder, you're not sitting there comfortably going, we're going to do this easy.
Absolutely not. Like, I think if you look at the results of those games, they probably a bit misleading. As I said, both of those games were right up with, Kim, for example, on during the Bellpost game. It was tight, and Werribee were missing players when we played them. So you can't really read too much into it.
No, we're looking forward to the final series, though. I think it'll be...
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough.
I must admit, I think it's going to be a really well thought out finals.
Yeah, which is good. But no, you should be happy sitting at top of the ladder, undefeated so far. Good luck with the rest of the season. Look, you're going to be in the finals, and good luck to all the girls there.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us on the show this morning, and good luck today in your game. And we'll be back after the break.
Raiders from all around your lawn. I'm here to tell you how football is strong.